Who's a good beer? Who's a good beer? Oh, hey, how you doing, guys? Caught me again. Welcome to another riveting edition of The Ghost and the Goat, starring me, paranormal investigator Buddy Thayer. I have a very special beer this evening, boys and girls. While it doesn't look special to you beer drinkers, it's kind of appropriate for tonight's show. The captain's daughter, while she's brewed here in Rhode Island, a certain daughter, not this one, maybe this one, has a special presence on tonight's show. More about that in a second. Tonight, usually on The Ghost and the Goat, you see me come on at 8 o'clock. You see me banter sports for about 20 minutes. Then I bring on my guest. Then I flip the switch and I bring on the paranormal. Bring on my co-host. Then I flip the switch and bring on the paranormal guest. And we chat paranormal for like an hour. Things are a little bit different tonight. My guest tonight, he has a little bit different of a schedule. So because I'm flexible, not that flexible, but a little bit flexible, I was willing to jumble some things around. And tonight we're going to do paranormal first. And then when our guest has to go, I might chat shit about the awfulness of losing. I don't even want to talk about that yet. We'll talk about that later. Joining me this evening, another fantastic daughter of Ohio, joining us live. Jai, welcome to the show, dear. How you doing tonight?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
That's good. Have you ever heard of tonight's guest, where he's from? Have you ever been spending some time in the New England area? Have you ever heard of this house? This case,
Actually, to be honest with you, I didn't get the information about him in enough time.
Oh.
So I'm learning all this firsthand.
Oh, all right. Well, awesome. That's an awesome opportunity. Let me show you this really quick. Okay, that's a hatchet, not an axe. But as the old rhyme goes, Lizzie Borden took an axe. She gave her mother 40 whacks. When she seen what she had done, or when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Clever as it is, not really accurate. But joining us tonight he's not from the Lizzie Borden. He's not at the Lizzie Borden house, but he's one of the one of the live actors and tour guides at the Lizzie Borden house. Please welcome to the show, Rick McIntyre. Rick, how you doing, dude?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
Oh, just fantastic.
Oh, and by the way, that poem has an obscure second verse that goes, Andrew Borden now is dead. Lizzie hit him in the head. Up in heaven he will sing. From the gallows she will swing.
Oh!
So all in all, it gets the story wrong at least 4 times.
Yeah, for sure.
And, but yeah,
all right. So
Lizzie Borden house.
For those who don't know, Lizzie Borden, she 32 years old in 1892.
Yeah.
She was living at home, accused of killing.
Double murder in Fall River, Mass. Victorian.
The crime of the century back in those
days.
Yeah,
it was.
Right?
What really made it the crime of the century was the investigation and trial happened after the teletype machine was standardized. So we're talking immediate national news, and it becomes like the first investigation and trial extensively covered almost in real time in the media.
Okay.
It's a whodunit with a kind of a locked house mystery air to it.
Right.
And at the time, people just did not believe that a feminine thing like Lizzie was even capable of that kind of brutal rage.
Right, a little stereotypical, if you will. So, for those of you all don't know, Jai, if you don't know, so when she allegedly whacked her mother, she did it living in the upstairs bedroom. That was actually her stepmother, Abby Borden, who she didn't like at all, believe it or not. And then she allegedly went downstairs and caught her father sleeping on the couch, allegedly, if it was her, and hit him several times. 11, I think, with Dad, and 9
with... 10 to 11 for Andrew, 18 to 19 for Abby.
This is Abby. This is her skull.
That's her skull as it appeared at the trial.
And this is Andrew's, which is holy shit. Whoever hit him not only messed up his head, but his whole face is really...
Oh, yeah. There was really 10 or 11 blows right on the left side of his face.
They found the hatchet head right in the loo downstairs, right?
There was actually a number of hatchets and axes found on the property. The thing that's interesting about this story is how much it has grown over the years and how many parts of it that are portrayed in the movies actually never happened.
Like what, Rick?
Oh, here's a great example. In every of the three major movies, there will be a scene where Lizzie Borden strips naked to avoid getting blood on her clothing.
Right. I remember saying that. I think
this almost certainly did not happen.
Okay.
Just considering how long it would take to dress and redress yourself in Victorian clothing, and clean up in between, the murders with the maid coming in and out of the house. Let me just remember where my point was going.
The hatchets,
yes, in
the
pretrial hearing, one of her lawyers made a joke about how it was conceivable his client could have committed 2 brutal murders but not had a drop of blood on her or her clothing, according to the first witness in the house, Adelaide Churchill from next door. And he said, "Oh, wait," the lawyer said in the pretrial hearing, "Oh, wait, I know. She must have gone naked." And, everybody laughs because it's so absurd.
Right.
The idea of a New England Protestant woman walking through her house naked holding a hatchet.
Murdering our parents. Yeah,
but
right.
now that has become, oh, yeah, now didn't she strip naked? That's how she,
yeah, didn't they have like that bustle that they put on? They tied all that shit up like tight, and then they put the big old dress
and a lot
on.
of the dresses buttoned up the back. So you're just, you're talking about complicated wardrobe and a very strict timetable. And, could Lizzie have done it is the question I get at the end of every tour, or what do you think, more to the point. And it's conceivable she did it.
Oh, for sure.
It's conceivable it was just for the money.
Yeah,
it's conceivable there were other theories involving
abuse. There was talk of abuse.
Yeah, abuse, lesbianism, all these things, the lesbian rumors. All of these have very popular fans and circumstantial basis. There's no historical evidence of those things.
Right.
Like with Lizzie and say Nance O'Neill, an actress she knew for some time. They corresponded. They had a friendship for a while. They part when Lizzie declines to loan Nance more money. But it seems they departed amicably, and it was more, Lizzie stepping out with scandalous people at the time, actors, and for the actor, oh well, we're going over to Lizzie Borden's house. Imagine how that would play amongst artists. And the letters and communications between them don't even seem like the coded language of Emily Dickinson, for instance.
Yep.
And I'm not saying it didn't happen. Nobody knows. That's what makes this such rich, fertile ground for conjecture. But
for sure.
One of the things I wanted to mention that we're really doing at the Borden house is, over the years, like I say, the story has grown.
Of course.
Different people that have worked on the house tour script have sourced it from different books and other things that were not, it turns out, as accurate as recently we've been able to, as a house individually and as a house, communicate with both Kara Robertson, the author of The Trial of Lizzie Borden, and I'm gonna get Shelley's name wrong.
I butcher everyone's name. No pun intended.
Yeah, it's Shelley basically runs a website called Lizzie Borden Warps and Wefts, and it is those two are the impeccable sources for the story.
Yep.
Because they've gone through not just they've gone through the autopsy records, they've gone through the medical records, they've gone through the pre-trial, the grand jury, the trial, they've gone through the coroner's I'm dropping the word here, conducted on Tuesday through Thursday was the oh God, I can't. Basically, where they're just questioning Lizzie under the idea of like we're you're not a suspect, you're not arrested, but we just want you to come down and talk.
Like your statement, basically, where you know what you saw.
So and I want to give a shout out to Elena Mariani and Megan Alves, two of my coworkers who have been really, really fierce in helping the script, which I took the house script and revamped it and made it, you know, I changed the flow of the tour on, or I was directed to, and we cleaned up a lot of stuff that has been either proven to be incorrect or we just don't know. So if you're going to talk about that, you have to use allegedly, and you have to use people believe at the time, or newspaper reports, you know, or here in the lawyer's trial notes, we see a notation of this. This stuff doesn't end up in the official records per se, but it describes the zeitgeist, the world of 1892 in Fall River.
Yeah.
And in many cases, it's worth talking about. But, you know, in the past, we've had some guides who have just gone off the ranch, so to speak, with how they interpret the story. And all of a sudden, Lizzie is an LGBTQ crusader in the 1890s, which is just not.
Yeah, I don't think so. She
wanted
she wanted like a higher social standing, from what I understand. She wanted to be.
Well, yeah, she always did
on the hill where all the rich folk were, and she was like more in the working class neighborhoods.
That's what Andrew preferred because it was close to the business district. Although he could have afforded to live up there, the man had no interest in anything other than making money and putting it away.
Can't really blame him for that.
Didn't seem to have much of a social life or desire for one. And you know, there are stories about him being a Scrooge, but you know,
there's a lot of horrific stories about him abusing both of his daughters, either sexually, physically.
No physical evidence, Lizzie frequently had injuries or bruises or wore a veil. You know, but on the other hand, people could argue, well, that's the sort of thing you wouldn't have talked about outside the house, even in a murder trial, because like you would be a ruined woman.
And that would be more common in those days for a father or for a primary figure of the household to, like, if he had to, I guess. Beating women was a little bit more common. A little bit more common in those days.
It happens today. So, you know, people are people, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's too bad.
But again, it's important when it's easy to tell the story of Andrew being a Scrooge, an unrepentant Scrooge who got what he deserved. And that Abby was, a shrew of a gold digger who was trying to get Lizzie and Emma booted out of the will. There's not really, Andrew was not a social man. He didn't really have much of a sense of humor. He was a very hard worker, but he grew up very working class poor.
Mm-hmm.
The movies make one or both of them out to be the kind of person for whom a brutal death is acceptable. And, when we tell the story, it's easy to tell the story with jokes. That's sort of my style of making it a little stand-up history kind of thing. But I also have to remember my dream job is predicated on the fact that there was a brutal double murder in that house.
Yeah.
And according to some people, those two spirits are still in the house.
Okay. Before we get into the ghosts and the haunting, Jai, you got a question you want to throw out there for him? I'm having a little bit of freezing issues. So I'm going to pop out real quick. I'll come back in. Go ahead, Jai.
Okay. I just wanted to ask you what brought you to the Lizzie Borden house? Did you feel drawn, or
was
money?
It
just money, a job?
Money. Here's what happened. I had gone back to school late in life and was in the theater production, and I met a person named Vic. Vic worked at the Lizzie Borden house, Vic reached out to me at one point saying, "Hey, look, are you interested in a theater gig?" And it was, the reenactment of the murder day, August 4th, 1892. You'll play Uncle John Vinicum Morse, who is an odd fellow, and at the time seemed really, really good for, no, he's the one that did it. But as I mentioned earlier, with this extensive historical scrubbing we've given the script, more and more of that gets peeled away, that he's still weird. There's still things about him that are a little, and conceivably place him within a conspiracy. But I think it's pretty safe to say he was not at the house during the time of the two murders. Anyway, so but up to that point, what I knew about Lizzie Borden was the first verse of the poem, and yeah, she killed her parents, right? I mean, I knew nothing.
Right.
I read through the script, which was basically a reporter interviewing the major characters of the Lizzie Borden story on the later that day, to try and get a feeling of what happened here today. And I instantly became like, wait a minute, what? That's a really, really weird detail. And then I took my money from that gig, and the manager reached out to me a few days later and said, "Hey, would you be interested in working as a tour guide?" And I'm disabled and retired, so I have way too much free time. I was like, yeah. And I went there, and the very first time I was working, I was coming up from the basement, and because I was shadowing one of the other tour guides, came up the no, that's right, dog. It's a historically accurate basement. And I watched, just like out of the corner of your eye, you see movement across the doorway.
Yep.
So I figured it was the other person who was the manager, and that I had a question for him. So I go up the next couple steps really quick to get up to the side hallway on the first floor off the kitchen. And there's nobody there. Nobody's gone up the stairs. Nobody's gone through the door. Nobody is in the kitchen, but I saw somebody walk past the doorway.
Nice.
And that was my first day. So,
wow.
Is the place haunted? Well, you're not going to see a ghost of like Abby Borden walking around with her head bleeding.
Right.
You're not going to see Lizzie Borden's ghost holding a hatchet. People have seen a shadowy entity in the basement. I've seen it. Just this disembodied shadow in a human form. And over the years, people have done so much Ouija board and seances and summonings that who the hell knows what's in that house?
Right. There's been I want to say active investigation. They opened around, I want to say it was like 93, because I was like 12. 96
was when it became a museum. And here's the interesting thing: there's not a lot of reports of paranormal activity prior to the retro construction that they did to make it look like 1892. That seems to be when things kicked up, which is consistent with other haunting stories.
For sure. The construction always gets it going. Always kicks it up.
Again,
for sure.
Some people come in and stuff happens and they don't stay the night. Other people come in and it's a lovely historical house, very comfortable mattresses, got a great night's sleep. Nothing happened.
Really? I went there. Rick, I went there once when I told you earlier before the show. I went there once as a kid when it first opened, and I'm a history dork, so I went for the history value of it all. We took a tour and stuff, but I felt weird on the weird. I felt weird on
Yeah.
the third floor in the maid, what
Very
would have been the
common.
maid's quarter, and then when we were in the bedroom where Abby was murdered, I definitely felt weird
Very common.
in that room, and
Mhm.
nowhere else in the house. Like I would have
Yeah.
thought the couch maybe, but nothing. But like
Mhm.
that weird, like, oh my
Yeah.
god, feeling like, buddy, I wish I had my recorder, but I was
I've
too
been
young at the
through the
time.
guest reports over the decades, and different parts are active at different times to different
Yep.
degrees.
Yep.
It's really like fishing.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah,
know,
for sure.
sometimes you go fishing and nothing's biting.
Right.
Other times, I've done ghost hunts, and I want to give out also a shout to other employees: Larry, Dave, Karen, Amber, Nicole, who's recently left us, sadly, Spencer, Adam, and Ashley, who are our night, and Amber also, who does nighttime ghost hunts, and another Ashley, who is our manager, and CJ, her husband, who fixes everything there.
Nice.
Housekeeping staff. I want to make sure I give everybody a shout out so I don't forget them. Isabel and Ray, who are our part timers. We got a great crew there that's really invested in recreating history for people. We do talk about the paranormal as well.
Mhm.
That's the daytime. At night, we've got, Adam, Amber, Spencer, and Ashley, our ghost hunting crews. They're really good at getting stuff going.
Okay.
They,
What kind of techniques do they use? What do they have certain equipment
spirit
that's more?
spirit
Yep.
boxes, EVPs, EMF,
Mm-hmm.
REM pods,
Yep.
thermal guns, that whole range of stuff,
All the
and
fun
also
stuff. Yep.
just communication, cat balls, that sort of thing.
Cat balls are great because they can't be. I use cat balls in the recent years because
Yeah.
they can't be set off by a cell phone or
No.
by like a microwave being turned on.
Yep.
It's very just
Yeah,
just
or
about the
having
touch.
what I love is when people are searching around the house and they've got an EMF detector and they're using their phone as a flashlight.
Yeah.
Getting red readings everywhere.
No, dude, you're not.
Oh, here's a funny ghost hunting story. And I give a shout out to the other ghost hunters because when I did it, it was I got some real results some nights, other nights not so much. These people do it more regularly, and some of them just have the gift.
Right.
Actually, it seems like all of them have the gift. Good going, ghost hunters. What was I saying? You can do nights where all that happens is somebody's batteries run dead and lights flicker. And it's lights that don't usually flicker or they turn off or turn on,
Nice.
And it's hard to sell that to people as terrifying proof of the supernatural, although it's not stuff that should, be happening. But everybody wants to see something, fall off a shelf or get knocked off the
Rick, you know Jen? Do you know it's Jen? Jen?
Oh, hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen. I'm sorry. Everybody wants to see something huge and exciting all the time. That's always the most like something on the TV shows. Right. Total disclaimer from a paranormal investigator: it doesn't always happen like that. Usually, it doesn't happen like that.
No, and remember, for these ghost TV shows, they do hours and hours and sometimes multiple evenings of shooting, and then edit that down to a really exciting hour.
Yeah, and it by no means does it take like a few hours in a hotel room after the investigation to finish up all the evidence and do it. That is completely like erroneous.
Yeah, and the other thing is we don't do jump scares. We don't do.
Oh, that's good. Like fake
manipulating the lights.
Yeah,
we don't do any of that stuff because the house either speaks for itself or it doesn't.
There was a haunted place years ago. It was out on the West Coast. Yeah, and I think it was Taps who went out there, and they might have kicked up the fibbery that was going on, but they like had a projector that would project the blue lady like standing on the cliff. They would have like a face in the mirror that was built into the mirror. Yeah. Like, get the hell out of here.
Harry Houdini made it his life's work to discredit fraudulent mediums and psychics. And
Mm-hmm.
there's the famous story of him telling his wife before he died that she should continue to go and, to try and find a real, authentic medium. And that they had a secret phrase only the two of them knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you hear this phrase, you'll know it's me. And supposedly she went to psychics and mediums for the rest of her life, but never heard that phrase. So,
Yep.
take that for what you will.
You can. Okay. So in that very same sense, which is, my wife passed away 6 years ago, right? Before she
I'm
died.
so sorry.
Thank you. Before she died, we used to talk about this kind of shit all the time. When she was,
Mhm.
I was like, I don't want to hear about when you die, Heather. Like,
Yeah.
well, it's not gonna happen. Whatever. But we agreed, being both like huge fans of the Family Guy show, that we would pick. It's peanut butter jelly time. It's peanut butter jelly time. It's peanut butter jelly time with the baseball bat, right?
Yeah.
Never did I hear tons of times, Rick. Tons of times I've
Yeah.
had mediums tell me all sorts of shit. They've told me like the last words that she said to me, which was really poignant. But nobody has ever told me that message until about a month and a half ago. I went on a ghost hunt of sorts. We went to an old King Philip's battlefield, and I was interviewing with it was like a local. He's like a local news guy, and he was doing like a study on a documentary on like the King Philip's War battle sites. Me being a history dork and a paranormal investigator, I went out. I brought a medium out, and it's one of his people. And we went out there. We did this whole thing for a few hours. We went back to his trailer to do his podcast. And one of his questions, he asked me, he's like, "Is there ever been like a message that like you've had or some kind of arrangement with somebody?" I was like, "Wow,
yeah,
that's that dude." Like the one time, I tell him, the one message that me and my wife arranged to give to each other, we've never got. I'm like, it's from Family Guy. The medium sitting right next to me. She's like, "Oh my god, oh my god." I'm like, what? I'm like, it's from Family Guy. It's peanut butter jelly time. It's peanut butter jelly time. It's peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. And she's like, every time the medium, so I've gone out with this woman about maybe 10 or 12 times. She's like, every time we go out or every time we go to do something, I hear that in my head. She's like, but I didn't know it was for you. I'm like, that's kind of free. I mean, all the other shit that I've gotten from my wife is freaky deaky on its own sense. But finally, that one message that we prearranged when she was alive finally came through. I do believe in mediums, not all of them. I'm super skeptical. If I use a medium on investigations, I gotta date them. I gotta really test the shit out of them.
We have
like, show me how you're a medium. Tell me,
Yeah, we have a house saying that if somebody tells you before the tour starts, just so you know, I'm a medium, sensitive, psychic, then at some point they're going to be a pain in the ass and focus all the attention on them.
Of course.
Right.
I'm sensing darkness in this room. Yeah, this is the room,
God.
Abby. You just stepped on the mannequin,
That's the couch right there. Yeah, right.
Somebody
has a headache. Yeah, his head was bashing. Yeah.
I've also seen on tours where, a woman very subtly looked like she was about to faint.
Yep.
And very, obviously tried to make it look like didn't want attention.
Mm-hmm.
And, then the rest of the tour went on. And I just asked her, like, are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, when I was in that room, I felt something cold pass by me and I smelled this kind of perfume that Lizzie liked, that we often smell in her room.
Nice. Old factory.
Personally, I've had some, experiences, and maybe we should wrap up with a few spooky stories.
Please. Yeah.
The only time I've been afraid of the house was once I was on the property by myself and I was in the basement near the cellar door. And like I told you, I heard a few footsteps that were just in the middle of the basement stairs, but didn't go to the top or the bottom of the stairs, just those 3 or 4 steps.
Yep.
And all across my body was this sensation of, the amygdala saying, get the F out of here. Mm-hmm. Don't be here when whatever that is shows up. And so I very quietly went out the back door, closed it, locked it, didn't look behind me, took a tour in there later. 2 hours later, everything was fine.
Yep.
There was another time where I used to do a lot more of the ghost hunts, and it's really, like the more you do it, the better you get at it. So that's
Of
part of my
course.
issue with when I do them now. I'm rusty.
Mhm.
But I was doing this with this small group of women, and we all heard something come out of the spirit box. But I didn't want to say anything. And they're all like, "Did you hear that? Did you?" Yeah. It sounded like, "Fuck you, Rick." Who's Rick?
Oh wow.
And I'm like, "Hi."
Hi.
Another time I came downstairs leading a tour, and this is in the middle of the day. There's a shadow as if somebody, like from housekeeping, was trying to get out of the way of the tour and
Mhm.
went over to where the laundry area is. Except I couldn't hear any footsteps. There was nobody in the laundry area when I peeked in, and nobody could have gone out the cellar door without me hearing. And that's when I realized I had seen the shadow thing in the basement.
Yep.
This just disembodied shadow, human shadow that many people have seen, interact with. There's a corner of the basement that many of our ghost hunters call the nope corner. Because
Yep.
nope, they're not going over there.
Rick, that'd be the exact corner I would want to go and
Oh,
put
yeah.
myself in and
Right.
just
And
hit
other
record and
times I
just
was
sit
in the
there.
kitchen. What gets me is when these things happen in the middle of the day. I
Mhm.
expect it at night, right? But in
Right.
Yep.
the middle of the day, I'm getting something out of the refrigerator in the kitchen, and I hear a little girl giggle in the middle of the kitchen. And I look around, and nobody's in the kitchen.
Right
And
there.
I look out all the windows. There's no little kid running around outside I might have heard. There's, in fact, nobody in the house but me.
Oh
And it's
boy.
just like, okay, all right.
Well,
Every once in a while, the house
yeah.
will remind you it gets its reputation for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
For sure.
So,
That's incredible. The little girl, do you think that would be maybe Lizzie or her sister?
no,
Or
we think it's the one of the children murdered in the house next door by by the great aunt
right.
in 1848, Eliza Ann Borden.
Before we wrap up, that's something else I wanted to pick your brain about. So it's not just like limited. The violence is not just limited to that one house next door.
Oh
There was
no,
some murders a
no.
generation before, right?
And there was in 1848, Lizzie's great aunt killed her attempted to kill her three children before taking her own life. Ended up killing the two youngest. This gets brought up in the trial as possible proof of madness in the Borden women,
Maybe.
but it doesn't go anywhere. Eliza was only a Borden by marriage, for instance.
Okay.
But they believe that the third floor and the basement are often haunted by these two young children. This is my most profound experience I've ever had on the house property.
Okay.
Wow.
And it was 6 months after I had been hired. So that would be March of 2022. And I was driving into work one rainy March morning, and I was pulling behind the house. And in the parking lot at the far end, this big high wall, there was a woman standing there in this gorgeous Victorian dress, bustle, bows, all that sort of stuff. Lots of lace and details, a hat with a veil. And as I'm pulling into the car, I want to get out and tell her, like, wow, are you here for the first tour? Because that is the most amazing cosplay I've ever seen.
Right.
People do that sort of thing fairly frequently. And in the second or so I took my eye off her to park the car, she was gone.
Wow.
Not leaving, not going, because there was no way
Just
she could have
disappeared.
gone where I wouldn't have seen her. I
Mhm.
mean, this figure, buddy, was a woman in a black Victorian dress with a hat and veil, very, very fancy.
Oh, you saw a full bodied
Before I got out
apparition.
of my car to comment on it and ask if she was there for the first tour, she was gone.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's
So
great.
okay. So I do a quick search, like all around. There's nowhere she could have gone unless literally she did a not, she would have had to do a standing back 20-foot jump.
Yeah.
And you go through that whole thing, like, did I see what I just saw, or did I just see something out of the corner of my eye? And you're on the board.
Right, but you saw. If you can describe it that clearly, what you saw, right?
Well,
Right.
yeah, and I kept coming back to the detail that I remembered, like the bow in the back, the vague outline of a face behind the veil. So later I'm reading this book about Lizzie's life, and it said that occasionally, she would check on the property, although she never again went inside. And the sentence ends with, and to keep her anonymity in Fall River, Lizzie would dress all in black with a hat and veil.
Oh wow!
And I just went cold all over my body.
Yeah,
because I realized what I had seen.
I bet.
And that is the only time I have seen a ghost.
Dude, I've only seen a ghost myself like 6 or 7 times in my lifetime, and each one is very special.
Yeah.
So
it really is. And when people ask, it's almost like you don't want to quite tell it if people are going to be like, yeah, it could have been fog. Like, look, dude, you weren't there.
Yeah, you didn't see what I seen, right? When you see that kind of detail, unless you have a psychosis going on, which you clearly don't, because if you're presenting in a lot of other ways, for sure.
We have a lot of guys
just see it, you feel it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, you don't just see it, you feel it too.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of feelings.
That makes a difference.
Yep.
For sure.
We have one guide, unfortunately, who has left. We will miss you, Nicole. Who never had an experience once in the house.
Oh, that's too bad.
Ever, as a guide. And everybody else, like, stuff happens to us all the time. Not all the time, but enough.
It's honestly, Rick, I live in a house right now. My elderly parents live on the first floor. I live in the basement, and since never before in my childhood, but when my grandmother passed away in 2008, immediately shit started happening immediately, and has since. Between the three, now I've only lived here a couple of years, but between the three of us, in my time in and out visiting here, my mother, we've both had hundreds of experiences here. Right, where my father. Not a single one. So, and that's his parents. So I don't know. I think it's his parents. I think it's my father's family, because my father's parents built this house. Their family was like ingrained in here. There was never anything here before, except boulders and an old farm. Right. So if anything, I think it would be my grandparents. So you would think they would want to see their son, but no. Rather, they show themselves to their daughter-in-law and their grandson. I think it's just our own ability to see, my mother's side of the family. I make this point a lot, or I discuss this point a lot with people who have experiences. I think it's genetic. Honestly, I think there's a genetic I think everybody has the ability to, but a lot of people that I meet, a lot of people that I talk to, including myself, including my own members of my own family, it's not just them and their family. It's like, all right, well, my mother sees stuff, my brother hears stuff, not just the voices in my head, but I mean, like, not mental illness, but actual, like, have bad experiences. Usually there's some kind of a genetic connection. Not always, but I think honestly, I think that's what it is.
My mother and my grandmother had it as well. It runs in the family.
Some people have the gift. I think we're also educated to not believe in that to the extent, as kids we're taught that things are impossible and don't exist, and so parts of our brain probably shut down.
Imaginary friends, all that, all that silly shit. Yeah, but
it says honestly, those imaginary friends aren't ghosts or spirits or extra dimensional entities or whatever. Here we get into philosophy and
when I can see a spirit, Rick, and then I can go afterwards and dig into the history and find that person in history. That's genuine to me. I don't know.
Before I go, I want to give a shout out to Lance Zoll, who is the owner of U.S. Ghost Adventures, and and the Lizzie Borden house is the way it is now, with all the different shows and different tours that we offer. One of Oak Grove Cemetery, one of the city. We had a Christmas show. We have something coming up in February that is having tea with Lizzie and Emma, played by Elena and Megan, I mentioned earlier. You're going to sit and have a tea party with them and learn about the sisters, their lives, and their relationship. They've done some really wonderful research into that.
That's
And
incredible.
in April, we're probably going to do the Edgar Allan Poe show that we've done
Awesome,
every couple of
dude.
years, which will
Yeah.
have Edgar Allan Poe stories and poems, as well as a couple original things that I have written.
Nice.
Right
Right up here. I get it
so
on the
much stuff
screen here,
going
Rick.
on.
You can see the
Yep.
show here. The show, the
Yeah.
house here, the webpage for the house, the
Yep.
ghost hunts, the ghost tours, the house tour. You can stay there. You can book a room. You can book the whole place.
Right. You know,
You
the
guys
house-
also have this. I noticed this, Rick, up here at the top. Join us for booze, brews, and barbecue.
Yeah, they're doing a special event, very expensive, very exclusive,
Yeah.
and featuring a rock band that I shamelessly am dropping the
Shinedown?
name of.
Holy
Oh, the
shit.
Shinedown, yeah. Who
Jesus.
Dave, our newest tour guide, is just ecstatic about. It's one of his favorite bands, so it's lovely to see, you know, other people that you work with get their chance in the spotlight and the shine. So it's just the best people to work with, and you know, Lance All is responsible for that house being, you know, still standing. The physical improvements and preservation of the house just in the time that I've been there has been stunning. It is now the original shade of paint that it was back then. It's got a metal roof that may not be accurate to the Borden house, but is accurate to the time period and is going to protect the house for much, much longer. I mean, it's a 185 something year old house. Things break all the time. And you know, I owe my dream job to that man, and thank him for his service as well. And should probably get toddling along.
Yeah, it was nice having you on, Rick. Jai, any last questions for our guests before we excuse them for the evening?
What's a going rate for a room right now?
It depends on the room. Historical bed and breakfast, you know, you're talking about $250 or so to start. Some of the suites are up in the 500 range. But you know, if you go with multiple people, you split that cost, and then
it's not
you get
so
to
bad.
It's
do
not
your
so
own
bad.
investigations in the house and stuff. So
it's not too bad.
No.
No, you definitely got to do it with a couple of people.
And in the off season, who knows? Maybe you can get some TripAdvisor deals or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I'm sure.
But anyway, all right. Well,
Rick.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on, Rick. Have a good have a good rest of your winter, dude.
All right, thanks.
Maybe we'll see you around. All right, have a good time. Oh, I'm sorry, and off he goes.
Care.
Sorry, Rick. My bad. I could you. My face is frozen, but you can hear me. And there goes Jai. Well, my face is frozen, but you can hear me just clearly. Before I wrap up tonight, guys, it's a quick show tonight. I had my guest came on early. It's allegedly we're having internet issues, as you can see, which is a staple here on the Ghost and the Goat. Another staple on the Ghost and the Goat is the sports piece that I just want to cover really quick with you. Last week we started the wild card round for the NFL playoffs. Oh my God, what a week it was! The LA Rams traveled to Carolina. The Rams won, but it was like I thought the Rams were gonna like the shit out of the Panthers. Like God, the Panthers have no place whatsoever being in the playoffs. But guess what they did? And they gave quite the game. They put up quite the fight against the Rams, but the Rams did finally come through in the end and beat them to move on in the playoffs. So the Rams are like, I read the Rams like, oh my God, these guys are going to win the Super Bowl. And then they could barely beat the Panthers. Like, buddy, what are you thinking? Anyway, the next game on last Saturday was the Green Bay Packers took the show on the road to Chicago. Chicago, while it was a close game, Green Bay was ahead by 15 points in the start of the second half, and they gave up a 15-point lead, and the Bears came back and beat the Packers. So the Bears move on. Buffalo and Jacksonville, that was a great game last week. If you happen to catch that, it was very close right to the end. But the Buffalo Billies came through and shined strong, and Josh Allen led them to another playoff win. The San Francisco 49ers surprised the shit out of everybody when they beat the Super Bowl champ defending Philadelphia Eagles in dramatic fashion. Also, another close game. I did not pick the San Francisco 49ers to win. I did not expect them to win. They did lose their star tight end during the game, Kittle. So I don't know how much. I mean, they got McCaffrey. I don't know how much more. More on that in a second. And then the LA Chargers, of course, played the New England Patriots at home and in Gillette at on Sunday evening at 8:00. It was a good game, guys. It was it's the Patriots' first playoff win in what, like 5 years, I think. I was somewhat surprised. I was expecting LA to maybe put up some more points. I was saying it was going to be 16-13. It ended up being 16-3. So I had three out of four of the right numbers for that score. However, New England really upstarted the Chargers to move on into the divisional round. And then last night, the Houston Texans came to Pittsburgh and showed Aaron Rodgers why he needs to retire, because the pass rush of the Houston Texans was way too much. And it was a close game first half. Houston had a big pass, scored a touchdown, took a little bit of a lead, and then they took another lead and they went ahead 24, and then Aaron Rodgers threw a pick six. That was pretty much the end of the game, and maybe the end of Aaron Rodgers' career. He might be back next year with Pittsburgh. He might not. Tune in next year to find out. But this week we have the divisional round playoff. The games are going to get more and more interesting as we go, folks. The first game on Saturday features the Buffalo Billies traveling to Denver to take on the number one seed Broncos. The Broncos are great. They have everything going on the ground, on the offense. Their defense is really special. The Bills, oh God, I don't know which team's going to show up, guys. If it's this team that, like, Josh Allen's running all over the place and he doesn't have anybody to throw to, but he can run 40 yards up the field, then I'm going to say it's the Bills. But if it's the Bills that show up that the defense is still in Buffalo and the team is out in Denver playing, then it's going to be Denver. I'm going to wait to see the point spread, what the point spread is going to be, and I'm going to put my bet on that. But if I had to pick win or lose right now, I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills upset the Denver Broncos. You heard it here first. The next game on Saturday at 8:00 in the evening features the also number one seed Seattle Seahawks take it on the San Francisco 49ers. Like I said, George Kittle is out. I don't believe in their defense so much. But then again, Geno Smith is the quarterback for Seattle, and I've never had faith in Geno Smith up until like last year. So I think Seattle's going to win this one. They got a really tough defense. They got a really good offense. San Francisco is all beat up on the defense. I say San Fran had a great win last week. They shut out the Eagles, or shut down the Eagles, but I don't think they're going to be able to shut down shit in Seattle. And the Seahawks take this one. On Sunday at 3:00, the New England Patriots host the Houston Texans. Guys, this is going to be a great football game. This features a hot, explosive offense in New England. It pains me to say, it gives me gastric pain and diarrhea to say that New England's a good team this year. They're taking on a really good team in Houston. They're, like I said, their pass rush is incredible. They're very fast linebackers, fast off the line, good secondary. When their offense wants to show up, their offense is really great. Might happen. They have a very young quarterback, very young team. This is going to be a great game. I think Houston can beat the Patriots, unlike the Chargers. But in the end, I think the Patriots are going to pull through. Oh God, and win this one. Although Houston could beat them, guys. Just saying. Again, see what the point spread is. If you want to put money on it, I would use the point spread because I think it's going to be very close, irregardless. I know I said that about the last game, but I had 3 of the 4 numbers right. So I don't think they'll score. I don't think the Patriots will score more than 21 in this one, guys. It's going to be a low-scoring game, and it's going to be close. Go Texans. I hope not the Patriots, but I think the Patriots might win. Anyway, second game on Sunday, the 18th, features the LA Rams traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. The Bears, like, while they struggled in the first half last week, holy shit, Caleb Williams, dude, you're a good quarterback. You put up some numbers, dude. You played some football. You led your team to a 15-point comeback against the Pack. Unfortunately, the Rams are a little bit better of a football team. They have a lot better of a defense. But they were kind of. I'm gonna pick the Rams. So that those are my picks for the week, guys. You heard it first here. Super Bowl's another month away. Super Bowl is the 8th. And then that's it, guys. In Boston, Alex Bregman got stolen from us. He left Boston and he went to the Cubbies for a lot more money. That they were hoping to grab Bo Bichette. I don't think they're gonna grab Bo Bichette. I think we're gonna blow Bo Bichette and just not that way. And just have another. It's gonna be another like meh season for the Boston Red Sox. The Celtics are still managing to win many games, and hopefully we'll see Tatum back, and hopefully they go into the playoffs all the way, kick the shit out of all the teams, and shut up all the naysayers. But who knows? Really quick update. We had 3 Dudes Brews the last call last Thursday. It was a good time. We got together with Reason to Chug. Buddy chugged beers that shouldn't have been chugged, but Buddy did it anyway. There is no show on this week, but stay tuned for episode 14 from Outer Lights Brewing. That should be cracking really soon. For Jai, my co-host who left, for my guest who signed off, Rick McIntyre from the Lizzie Borden. For Lizzie Borden, this has been Buddy Taylor, the Ghost and the Goat. Thank you, everybody. Tune in next week for, I don't know, we'll find out more this week. And tune in next week for some more 3 Dudes Brews, the last call. For everybody, this has been Buddy Thayer, the Ghost and the Goat. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a good week. Go, not Patriots. Peace.